I make some good choices every once in a while, Dylan.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Behind the back! Are you serious? No hesitation on the shot. Mizrahi's feeling it. Make it 3 for 3. And Ciolino, see you later. Here's a chance for Sias, and there's a shot and a goal. Will Spare will take it all the way. Touchdown Seahawks. The extra look and the goal. A gorgeous goal by Welcome to Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University, where tonight it's the Orland and Cone Game of the Week. Right here in the Varsity Media Sports Network, it's the Suffolk Division I quarterfinals, featuring the 5th-seeded Flaming Arrows of Sachem North and the 4th-seeded Patriots of Ward Melville. Good evening, everyone. Dylan Butler here with Mike Hungerford. And Mike, it's playoff time. You feel it in the air. It's a great time of year. It's the 4 versus 5. It was a 1-point game in the regular season. We expect another tight game here tonight.
Absolutely, Dylan. 4-5 and very, very close. I think we got the national anthem coming up right now, but could be a very close game.
So we'll take a quick break for that anthem, come back, give you all the impact starters and more right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Running for the train, derail your knee? We've got specialists for that. Diving after that grounder, leaving you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Over the middle, he's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino, see you later. Going long, wide open. Perazzi, he gets it. Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, make it. Touchdown. Punch, counter punch. The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman. What a catch! Just Ross Simmons strips him, that's loose, and Ross Simmons is going to take this the other direction. Make it! Touchdown! Touchdown East! And welcome back to Laval Stadium. Dylan Butler, Mike Hungerford here in the opening round, technically called the qualifying rounds here in Suffolk County. They will reseed after this. In fact, let's show you those brackets while we have the opportunity here in the pregame and show you how these teams match up and who they might face. There you see it. Again, you reseed, right? So if there's an upset, it's always going to be the highest seed against the lowest seed. But if you go chalk here, you know, you could have Ward Melville taking on top-seeded and undefeated Walt Whitman. But first, it's this battle here tonight. It's Sachem North and Ward Melville. Interesting dynamic, Mike, here, I think, because it's a tradition-rich Sachem North program that's trying to get back to their rich history, and Ward Melville, a team that's kind of trying to prove, listen, we're not just a lacrosse school. We play football here. We play big boy football as well, so they're trying to really increase their tradition or get maybe on that same page that Sachem North has been traditionally.
Sure, Sachem North, traditionally one of the, the football, Sachem High School, Northeast, whatever you want to describe it as, one of the traditional Suffolk County powers for generations. Freddie Pissarro, coached for many years here, and they're trying to get back to being that dominant program, and they're inching closer seemingly every year. And then you have Ward Melville, who has been hot and cold over the years, trying to get better as a program, and I think Coach Boltrek's did a pretty good job. He got very consistent now. So we'll see who gets to go on and be a Big Four guy, right? Make it to the Final Four, and who doesn't.
We'll show you the impact players now for both teams. First for the visitors from Sachem North. And you see him there right in the middle of that screen. Chris Kelly, what a job the senior has done for them this year. A little bit of everything. That true dual threat there, Mike, where he's thrown for 600 yards. He's carried the ball for 720 yards as well. He's a true leader of this offense. He could potentially become the first in the program's history to go 1,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing in his career.
Yep, Coach Caputo happened to say that, no disrespect to anyone who's played the position at Sachem North High School, but he could play for almost a large number of different teams over the years. He's that good, and at times he said that he's put the team on his shoulders, on his back, right, and carried the team.
And for Ward Melville, we'll stay in that same position, right, and we'll take a look at Chris Prusen, a kid coming here today I was really excited to see in person for the first time. Another senior, another dual threat guy. This year has thrown for 980 yards, has carried the ball for 640. It's for Chris Boltrek. He says, really the first time that I've had a true dual threat quarterback in my program since I've been the head coach of the program.
Sure, and and I think that what he can bring to the table is the ability to hang in the pocket and deliver the ball to open receivers. But he can also, when things break down or he decides to run, that's when he becomes a running back.
There you see Prusen getting his team ready. The opening kickoff here on the Orland and Cone Game of the Week. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. It finally feels like football weather, Mike. It's a nice, cool evening out east here in Stony Brook, and this should be a really fun matchup.
Yeah, Dylan, I spent most of the season in the 5-1-6, and it's great to be out here in the 6-3-1.
We welcome you out here.
Thank you very much. And, Division I, big boy football out here in Suffolk. Yeah. Excited to be here.
Escalante's kick is fielded at about the 15, and we are underway. The return out to about the 31-yard line, and now Prusen and his offense get to come on the field. And interesting here, too, Mike, another dynamic about this matchup is it's the 4-5, right? Ward Melville 5-3, Sachem North 4-4. What's the difference between that? Literally a 2-point conversion that was failed by Sachem North in their regular season matchup. It was a 1-point win for Ward Melville, and as such, they are technically home here at Stony Brook in their backyard with their field on campus unplayable. 1st and 10 for Ward Melville. We'll get you their starters offensively after this play. Prusen takes it himself, cuts it towards his own sideline, takes a big hit at the 40. How about the 41 he's forced out? Let's take a look at those starters for Ward Melville offensively. Joining Prusen, running back is Nick Gaffney. Your receivers, Velez, Murray, Fontana, and Carroll. Up front, the big boys, Kevin Dolan at left tackle, Zach Licavoli. Those are two lacrosse studs. Your center is Horvath. Brereton is your right guard, and Hildebrand right tackle. Gain of 8 on 1st down, 2nd and 2 for the Patriots. Just underway here in the Suffolk Division I quarterfinals. This time it is the handoff. It's Gaffney cutting inside. He'll get enough for the 1st down. Let's take a look at the starters defensively for Sachem North. Up front at defensive tackle, you've got Ziegler. It's Anna Crayon at nose. Joe Cruz. We'll talk a lot about Joe Cruz here today at defensive tackle. You've got Jacquez, Georgie, Lombardo, and Penica as your backers. Harlan and Eaton are your corners and Laffey and Duvall at safeties. Another run, another good cut to the outside and being forced out of bounds. Good running there by Gaffney, the junior.
You spoke with Coach Caputo during the week and the coaches, and interestingly enough, they both kind of echoed that. They both thought offensively they'd be able to move the ball on each other and possibly score some points. And you can see early on the Wood Melville skill guys pretty quick, bouncing to the outside and Prusen him in the back and getting some good yardage here. And excellent down on 2nd and 2 to do a lot of different things right now.
Yeah, gain of 7 there on first down by Gaffney, who's got 710 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns on the season. Prusen again in gun, another handoff, another cut to this side, and a good tackle there. But another nice gain there for Ward Melville. Tackle by Chris Lombardo.
They brought that receiver across the formation, and they kind of been running to the boundary a little bit here. Maybe something they saw in film study going into the week and how Sachem North aligns into the boundary here. They have a corner and they have a walkaway, and that 3-man line, they have a DT and a 4-eye technique inside, trying to kind of make a little leverage, trying to gain a little leverage here and get to the outside, to the boundary. 1st
and 10 from the Sachem North 42. High snap. Prusen takes it and gets out. So again, it looked almost like a broken play there, Mike, but Prusen using his athleticism and pushing the ball forward.
Prusen's going to be a guy who, he plays quarterback and a little head fake there. Maybe he was going to the outside, a little do-si-do, right, taking it back inside. And, according to Coach Boltrek, he plays quarterback like a quarterback, but when he pulls that ball down, he becomes a true running back. And, those guys are very hard to deal with, very, very difficult to defend.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. You've got a man in motion, which is Murray. He gets the ball, cuts it right side. He gets right by Joe Cruz as well, and he gets out a couple yards short of the first down.
Coming with that fly sweep, to the wide side of the field with Cruz, trying to get some leverage there, and pretty close to the first down. Very makeable 3rd and 2, probably almost in 2-down territory here.
And again, Boltrek said of Murray, we're going to get him in motion a lot. We'll go into trips. His strength is his stalk blocks, but there you see the speed that he had to set up a 3rd and 2 for the Patriots. Another handoff. It's Gaffney, and not getting past that first tackler.
Georgie.
Yeah, Nick Georgie with the tackle.
Good job. He saw an open gap there, Georgie. He just went and filled, and they didn't really have a blocker for him. And it's kind of an unblocked player. Nice play by Georgie. When you're unblocked, make the play, young man, right? Get him on the floor. And not much gain there for Wood Melville. Like we talked about, it's 4th and 2. And on the 34, and they're going to go for it.
Yeah, Georgie the leading tackler for the Flaming Arrows. 4th and 2. Here comes Prusen. He's hit first, and then he gets that extra push. And he looks like he just might get it. Or did he? He's right at the line. There's pointing the other way, and he doesn't get it. He's just shy. Let's take a look again, Mike.
Just bringing the quarterback, loading up and trying to get some blockers for him. And a little bit of penetration by Sachem North. He leaned, and I think they're going to measure, though. Coach Prusen was asking for a measurement, I believe. He is entitled to ask for one if it's close.
Penica, number 30, was in on the tackle. And let's take a look at these chains here. What a big play already, right, early on. Ward Melville pushing the ball, and he will be short. And actually a little bit longer than we thought, right? More than a football's length short of that first down.
I think the near side official, side judge, came in and ruled his knee down, and he leaned afterwards. And of course, we see the pretty 6'1" kid leaning forward, and we think he gets it, but they ruled his knee down a little bit short.
There you see Dave Caputo's guys. Caputo, what I love too about this matchup are these are two guys, the two head coaches, as Caputo has his guys break here, the huddle by the sideline. Caputo, a 1996 Sachem, not North, not East yet. Yeah, right, that was still just Sachem. Sachem grad. Same with Boltrek, a Ward Melville grad as well. So coaching their alma maters, both of them. 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Kelly, first time we get to see him, he will air it out. Goes over the middle, and that is incomplete.
Good coverage right there, Dylan. He had a lot of time in the pocket, Kelly. Going to give him that much time to stand back there. He's eventually going to find some people open, and taking a deep shot early. You know, interesting decision by Sachem, but, you know, trying to open up the game a little bit off the turnover down. Just couldn't hook it up.
We'll get you the starters after this next play. 2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line. We mentioned Cruz, and you want to keep an eye out for him on the left side of this line. And you can't miss him. He's 6'6", 285, so he will fill up a lot of room when they want to run. You know they're going to be running left quite a bit. They actually go the other way. Oh, a little trickery, but Ward Melville sniffs it out. Kelly is taken down. Big number 72. That's Zach Licavoli. He is your goalie on the Ward Melville lacrosse team. Watch Licavoli here just jump in and just shove Kelly to the ground for the sack.
He's the unblocked player there, Dylan. I think they're supposed to be reading him, and I'm not sure they got that right.
There you see the starters real quick for Sachem North. We'll show you again. Kelly will go the other way. That is complete. He finds Andrew Eaton. But off of that loss, which was a loss of 4, that's a long way to go. Let's pop up those starters again for Sachem North offensively. Again, it's Kelly leading the way. Tyler Hall is their leading running back. 825 yards on the ground. You've got Davidi, Laffey and Eaton up front. You've got Cruz, Ledesma, Howard, Anna Crayon, and Jacquez. Kicking and punting is Chris Escalante, and he will do so now. Low snap, but Escalante recovers well. It will take a bounce and take a couple more bounces for Sachem North. So no harm, no foul for the Flaming Arrows on their first possession, and a game of field position early on as Ward Melville here, again, kind of in their backyard, right? They're in the Three Village district, and their home field, one of the few remaining grass fields. So you know kind of how beat up that gets by the end of a season, and that was the case here. It's not the first time for Ward Melville to play a game here at Stony Brook, a playoff game at that. 2018, they played Longwood in the semifinals. They won that game and ended up playing here again because this is the site of the Suffolk County Championships.
Get a little championship preview here tonight, right? Of the
facility, sure. And you know what? Both coaches, right, referred to that and how important it will be for them in terms of program building and just sort of, you know, you've got a lot of young JV players as well. The JV season in Suffolk County is over, so you get a look as well at listen, this is what it looks like, guys. Here's the way out of the locker room. Here's how we run down the tunnel. And here's what this stadium, which is a unique one at that, it's a bowl kind of here as well, so it's below sort of street level, if you will, so it's a different sort of a look. So off the penalty, Ward Melville will start from their own 14-yard line. Prusen again will hand off, and there is again Murray in space. Excuse me, that was Fontana, number 4, and he'll get out to the 26-yard line.
You know, Dylan, they've run that jet fly sweep action a couple times now, and they've been very close to popping it. They're like, you know, right here, snap a little off, but he gets some nice, get a handle on him, and just if they just keep that block a little longer, maybe that safety can't get there and make the play, and that linebacker can't scrape. That was Lombardo making a tackle, and maybe he can pop it. It's pretty close. I think they'll be coming back to it. Good
block there by Gaffney as well, the running back. First down run, so 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Prusen tells Gaffney, come over to my right hip now, or left hip, I should say. Another high snap, and Gaffney, look at the chugging by Gaffney, and that's a little bit of what you get in Nick Gaffney. Mike, they've got 1,000-pound club here in Sachem at Ward Melville, right? It's not a unique situation. College high school football programs have that, but Balltrek is quick to say, listen, we just do the clean bench and squat, right? So this is a legit 1,000-pound club. He thinks Gaffney might be the first skilled guy to get there. He's very, very close. Some movement up front, and there is the jump by Sachem North. It was Anna Crayon, the nose guard, who will jump, which will bring up a very tidy 2nd and 1 for Ward Melville.
Those are the little mistakes, but over the course of a game, hopefully they don't add up. Hopefully Ward Melville hopes they add up in their favor, and hope they don't. Sachem North doesn't. Those little mistakes add up. Those little 5 yards and everything. Now it's 2nd and 1, and this is a play caller's dream, right? You got two plays and playbook's wide open.
Handoff is to Gaffney. He was taken down. Lombardo again on the tackle, but obviously just needing 1 yard. That's good for a first down.
Very nice runoff by Lombardo. Scraping off to the sidelines, getting it flat, trailing the hip. Great textbook linebacker play right there, making the tackle for not much of a huge gain, but just enough, of course, to move the chains.
Lombardo, the middle linebacker, 39 tackles and interception on the year. They didn't think he'd be on the team this year. He's only a sophomore. They thought he'd be on JV. But based on needs, here he is, and that's a great-looking tackle as well. Murray gets only out to about the 40, a 1 yard gain for Trevor Murray.
They're working that fly sweep action because I think they see what we see up here, and they're pretty close to popping. It's a great tackle right there by keeping it to a 1 yard gain, but I think that's something they'll be coming back to over and over again until it's really sniffed out completely by the North defense.
We will talk about these guys throughout the game, but a stout offensive line, and we love the battle up front as well. And look at this gain on first down by Fontana. He will move the chains as he gets inside Sachem North territory to the 49-yard line.
There it is again. They bring it again. Get a lineman out in front with a little pole and a little block. And look at guys getting touches on number 3 right there.
Yeah, Velez.
Velez getting a touch, staying on, dumping a guy. Just got to get touches for those skilled guys to get big yardage.
Murray in motion again. Oh, and a great decision there by Ward Melville to go the other way. You had to read Murray going the other way, so Gaffney cuts it back across the grain.
Sure, a little, very typical of a two-back formation where you may fake one way and give the other, a little counter action. You bring the jet sweep action across, you hand it back the other way, pull a lineman, and you're off and running. And this has been a nice drive engineered right now by the Ward Melville guys, all on the ground. Ball isn't going in the air yet.
When you talk about the offensive line for Ward Melville, the big conversation is that left side, right? Dolan at left tackle, Licovoli at left guard. Those are your seniors, and those are your big dudes as well. There's Gaffney again, cuts it to the outside. Gaffney to the 20, and he is forced out of bounds by Andrew Eaton. What a great run again by Gaffney.
Great decision by Gaffney, but he gets the wind back there, the wind back action. As you can see, right, the play's kind of initially looks like it's heading to the right, but he winds it all the way back, and I think Sachem North's going to have to make an adjustment. They have an inside player there. We call him a technique of 4-eye. Inside the offensive tackle, and it looks like he's being washed down, and there's no hard player there on the edge there for Sachem North, and no doubt, Coach Capillo will make that adjustment defensively.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Another handoff inside the 15, and Gaffney will get out of bounds. The junior, 710 yards on the ground, 10 touchdowns. Boltrek calls him a moose, but a moose with speed as well. So it's that great combination. There's a good look at Gaffney there. He could break away from you. He could shimmy you a little bit. He's got all of the tools to be a very good player. Consistency maybe is the only knock you would say, right, over the course of a season, but certainly in this opening quarter, Gaffney looks really good.
Made a lot of good decisions right now, and the moose is loose. He's trying to get it going right now.
There's the moose again, and looks like he lost the football, and Sachem North will get it back.
I think in the exchange in there, Dylan, in that exchange.
You see Lombardo celebrating 48. We'll look at it again, but here it is, handoff, and you're right.
Snap was a little off to the right, and everyone in the world is playing shotgun football these days, right, Dylan? And of course, nobody wants to mention the center until something bad happens, right? But everyone's playing shotgun football, but you have to realize the ball's got to get put on the quarterback's hands for timing sometimes, and it makes it a little bit difficult. I think that off snap might have thrown them off a little bit. he didn't have a good clamp on the ball on the ground that goes. And a really nice drive by Ward Melville. They get no points.
How about the book a little bit of Lombardo? He's always around the football. Yeah, I would say so there. And two big plays defensively, right, for Sachem North. You got the stop on 4th down on the first drive, and now the second drive where Melville turns it over.
Sure, I think if you're a guy like Lombardo in 10th grade or sophomore in high school, starting for a Division I team like Sachem North is, you better be around the football because there's got to be, you're good enough to play ahead of some older guys, maybe due to injury or whatever they need. But he finds the football, that guy, that's for sure. He got a nose for it.
2nd and 9 now for Sachem North. 3:06 and counting. You see it at the bottom of your screen left in this first quarter. It's the Orland and Cone game of the week. Suffolk Division I qualifying rounds. Inside run. Looked to be Hall. Tyler Hall reached 1,000 yards rushing in his career last week. Became the 28th player in Sachem history to do just that. There you see his cut inside.
Good decision. Get up inside, right? It's 2nd and long. Get up inside and get some yards and put yourself in one of the most manageable 3rd and 5 situations where you can call a bunch of different plays right here. The defensive coordinator can't load up on the run or load up on the pass.
Jake Petruzzi with the tackle there, the old school linebacker number 1 for Ward Melville. Kelly back to pass. He's under pressure. Lobs it up towards midfield. A jump ball. And that was incomplete.
And the man that messes that whole play up for the offense is Petruzzi. He came on that blitz on the inside and found the window right off the play action. He finds the blitzing a window, and I think Kelly can't really step into it, right? Kind of threw it off his back foot and couldn't really put it where he wanted it. And just that little bit of pressure, right? Sometimes you don't have to knock the quarterback down and get a sack. You just got to get him off his mark a little bit.
Boltrick thinks that Petruzzi, the 6', 175-pound senior linebacker, might be the only kid on Long Island left wearing that old neck roll and the forearm pad. That's how old school Petruzzi is. Escalante, a good-looking punt, but it gets up in the air. And that's a little bit of the thing here about Stony Brook that, Caputo was saying, look, it's not a championship game, right? So we don't get on this field until you're in warm-up. And that's a little bit of a concern he had coming in because of everything that you have, right? The hash marks are different. The end zone, there's a lot of difference, right?
Yeah, sure, the goalposts are
goalposts, yes.
Now I think you're trying to allude to. And the hash mark actually, Dylan, is kind of a big thing because high school hash marks are much wider. And you can see here when the ball is going to be in the middle of the field much more because the hash marks are tighter. And I think that's why Ward Melville is able to get that fly sweep and that edge run a little bit because it's a little bit longer way to run.
So first down from the 35-yard line, a flag is thrown right towards that runner for Ward Melville. That was Prusen to take it. And another part, too, Mike, that I don't think you notice until you get on the field is, again, the field is below the street level, right? So it is a bowl. So when you look up at the flags, it's not necessarily what you're seeing on the field.
No, I've been, I guess lucky enough, fortunate enough to play here a few times in from Long Island championship games and also some lacrosse games, and it's definitely a different feel on the field than what you have in the parking lot because they're much further below the, I guess you call it the street level,
yeah,
right, or ground level in the stadium, and definitely the conditions can be a little bit different. And sometimes when the ball gets up in the air, all of a sudden it is in those conditions because it's up in the air pretty far.
So probably your punts, you'd like to get a more of a line drive than get it up in the air. Off of that penalty, a 1st and 20 from the 45-yard line. Prusen will look to pass. He's found the man out by the 30-yard line. That was complete to Lorenzo Velez.
Nice, very nice ball. It's one of those kind of back shoulder fade passes, stop fades. Put it on the back shoulder where only the receiver can catch it. Really nice delivery and good looking makeup for the penalty they had to put them in a really nice situation here at 2nd and 4.
There you saw Velez. Brother Marcus played for Ward Melville a few years ago. Again, man in motion. They'll go to him. The cut inside, bursting forward to about the 21-yard line. The runner there was Fontana.
You know, Dylan, it's just minute 23 to go in the quarter and the clock is running. And Sachem North, correct me if I'm wrong, it's run 6 plays, 2 series. And Ward Melville has to run 14, 15 plays at this point. And it just takes more energy to play defense than to play offense. And high school guys, a lot of them play both ways. It's going to be a little draining on the Sachem guys.
Prusen looks end zone, and that's picked off at the 5. Duval gets it to the outside. There is a flag, though, on the play. This will be against the offense. It will be declined, and how about that? 3 stops by the Flaming Arrow defense inside the 20.
I think Prusen, off the play action, is trying to hit a skinny post there.
Wow.
And he didn't recognize that the safety there, you know, Duval is kind of hanging in the middle of the field. Didn't really go with the play action very far, right? I think they were trying to get that jet sweep action to get the safety moved over. He kind of hung on the quarterback's eyes and just read the eyes and tipped it and made the interception. Great play.
Yeah, how about the hands there by Duval, right?
Absolutely.
So Sachem North, you love more than anything here to get a sustained drive, to just get your defense, which has been awesome in these first 12 minutes, just to get them some breathing room, right?
You need it first. Just all starts with one first down. Just get one and get a little confidence, and all of a sudden everyone takes a deep breath.
Kelly, look out, nowhere to go. Forced back, Petruzzi, number 1, in among a host of tacklers for the Patriots.
Petruzzi's just that old school inside linebacker, right? Like finding windows and taking and reading the play and taking windows and making the play. And when you run those zone type plays and you have openings and the linemen don't mesh correctly, there's going to be gaps, and linebackers shoot those gaps, and that's where big defensive plays come from.
A loss of 4 on that play. Kelly back to pass. The pressure comes again. He runs away from it, loses the football, and Ward Melville comes away with it. It was forced by Dolan, 52. And back and forth we go. Here it is again, Mike. Oh, the strip by Dolan. How about the wheels? That's a lax guy right there.
That's a Lawrence Taylor guy right there. Bring back the greatest defensive player in the history of football right there, Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, wrong number, 52 instead of 56, but that's fine.
We'll take it, though. LT, the greatest of all time, creative invented of a strip sack. And there he is, chasing from behind, knocking the ball. And LT was an outside linebacker who played like a D-end, and there's a great play by a D-end right there, changing the flavor of the game right now.
Prusen, a 4th chance inside the 20, lowers the shoulder. Prusen breaks a tackle and dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Ward Melville. Impact player? Oh yeah, Chris Prusen is just that.
Great run by Prusen, gets out of a couple tackles and a couple can't arm tackle. I don't think you can arm tackle Chris Prusen. You got to bring your pads. And you got to get down on him, and you got to bend the belt buckle and wrap him up. He gets through some tackles right there and scores. And it seemed like it was a matter of time before Ward Melville was going to get something going there.
Weber, the PAT, it is up, and that is good. And Mike, too, I think just for the mentality, right, for Ward Melville, you needed to get in the end zone. That's your 4th time in the red zone. And the first 3 times you turned the ball over. So Prusen was like, you know what? Get on my back, guys. I will bring you to the promised land.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, he threw a pick right there, and it was a mistake. And obviously got to the sidelines, got coached up a little bit, checked out a little harder sideline film, and kept right back in there. And he's supposed to be your man. You got to put the ball back in his hands, and he's got to make plays. And he made one right there.
Prusen's 9th rushing touchdown of the year. It took him a little bit of time to get – this is his first year as a full-time starter, right? Split time in the spring. took Prusen a little bit of time to get used to a pretty complicated offense for Ward Melville. But he really kind of kicked it into gear, had 5 touchdowns, a couple rushing, 3 in the air against the top seed, undefeated Walt Whitman. And he's been like that kind of in every game of the year. And listen, it's nice when you could say Prusen really consistently this year, according to Boltrek, has been the best player on the field.
That's saying a lot, and he thinks the world of him, and obviously this is one of those kind of games, the playoffs now, right? You're playing for keeps, and if you lose, you ride the bus back and you hand your equipment in Monday afternoon, and nobody wants that, but this is where you need your best guy to be your best guy, these situations.
A short kick, it's got to get fielded, it does, at the 20-yard line, and a short return at that. Prusen, by the way, his first start, how about the playoffs a couple years ago as a sophomore against Pat Med. That is the end of the first quarter, and the Patriots behind Prusen have jumped out to a 7-0 lead over Sachem North. You're watching the Orland and Cone Game of the Week here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University. Second quarter underway. It is 7-0 the lead for Ward Melville, courtesy of a 24-yard rushing touchdown by Chris Prusen. Hall with the run, and you see how quickly the Ward Melville defense converges, and some big boys on that defensive line as well, led by Dolan. We mentioned him before, right? The strip sack. Dolan, 29 tackles, 13 of which were for losses, 4 sacks, and 1 caused turnover. That wasn't the first quarter. That was coming into this game. Dylan Moore as well at nose tackle, 6'5", 225, is a really fast, kind of a quick twitch guy off the line for a big dude at nose tackle as well. Gain of 1 on first down on the first play of this second quarter. Suffolk Division I qualifying rounds is what they call it. You can call it quarterfinals as well. Top 8 teams in Suffolk Division I are in the postseason. Man in motion, and that's where the ball goes to Duval, and he is eaten up. There he is again. Kevin Dolan.
Very nice defensive end play right there. He's got the edge. Your defensive end's got the edge. Keeps his outside hand free. Inside hand, that outside number kind of strings the play out. Waits to see if the running back cuts it inside. You've done your job. Don't let him get around the corner. He goes for the bounce around the corner, and there he is to make the play. And one more thing, Dylan, I think we have a little developing story going here. Cruz, the left tackle, has not been in the game this series, and I think he's sitting on the bench over there. He didn't play the last defensive series either, so maybe he's got a little nicked up or something wrong with him. Not exactly sure, but big blow for the North guys if he can't go.
It would be a huge one, absolutely. Over the middle, Kelly, tipped in and out of the hands of Duval. Not too dissimilar, as now a trainer goes across the field, maybe to also assist in looking out for Cruz, but that was similar to the ball that he picked off Duval, just kind of bobbled it a little bit, incomplete. Sure. So 4th and 11, and there you see the sideline for Sachem North.
as much as it might be a physical thing of him not being able to go and not in the game, how about the mental makeup of the team, not having him in the game, and obviously not many players on Long Island are straight 1A Power 5 conference athletes. So we'll try to get an update when we can on his condition.
Yeah, we have a cool graphic to show you here about Joe Cruz and how impactful he is on this program. And also, look, when you think big lineman, right, for Sachem North, you kind of go back in history a little bit, right? Say a little bit of a Jumbo Elliott. Well, there they go. Jumbo Joe Cruz, Jumbo Elliott, Sachem guys through and through. A 4-year starter for Cruz will go to Syracuse. Is his verbal commit. First FBS since Jimmy O'Neill, who went to Iowa State in '95. And obviously, look, Jumbo Elliott is the lineman, right? The kind of football player, if you will, in Sachem history. And Joe Cruz, he still has, with his frame, he can maybe put on another 30, 40 pounds, so he could be the same size as Jumbo Elliott was. Of course, he went on from Sachem to Michigan, played for the Jets and the Giants as well.
Sure, Jumbo Elliott at a time when linemen weren't the standard, 300-pound guys that we see every day. Jumbo was nicknamed given because he was so much larger than so many guys, especially of the era, even in college and pro football.
Prusen, a little jump pass, a little dump over the top for Fontana, spins at the 20, cuts inside the 15, and he is taken down there.
Prusen doing his best Patrick Mahomes right there, right? The good Patrick Mahomes, not the guy we've seen the last few weeks, but he kind of keeps the play alive a little bit, steps up in the pocket, and there's that crossing receiver, I believe, coming open late, and what a great athletic move. I'm really impressed, Dylan, by the skill guys of Wood Melville and their athleticism. They run hard, they play with their pads down, but they also have great cuts, bounces, moves, stepping in and out of stuff. Love it.
Another red zone trip for the Patriots. 1st and 10 from the 13. Oh, what a block on the outside. We'll get you the number of that offensive lineman. There you see Prusen, though, getting inside of the 8. That was a monster hole. You wish you had that kind of hole driving on 347 to get out here, huh?
That took me a little while to get here this afternoon, Dylan. I will admit, though, 25A was a little better, but great block up front.
72.
And, when you have teams that are willing to run the quarterback the way Wood Melville's running with Prusen, and Nassau, a team that does it a lot, Massapequa, runs the quarterback like a running back, and you get an extra player because most of the time the quarterback's handing it off, right? It's 10-man football. The quarterback's not in the play. Here, with him running it, all 11 men, you have an extra blocker, so very difficult to defend. That
was your left guard, by the way, as here's a run into the end zone, and it is a touchdown for Ward Melville. Player, though, still down. Looks like it's Gaffney, and that's something to keep an eye out for because he is your bruising running back. But Gaffney gets in for the Patriots' 2nd touchdown.
Well, I think, Dylan, he got dragged down. He pressed the line of scrimmage and then bounced late, and he had it on his back. And the way he got hit, he got dragged to the ground a little bit might be the issue.
So he'll be checked out on the field. And he's quickly up, which is a great sign. So the rushing touchdown by Gaffney. And you just kind of felt, Mike, after that first touchdown, now maybe it's a little bit of that nerves, right? Understandable, bright lights of being here at Stony Brook, the postseason. But they look a lot more comfortable, these guys doing offense. And that is a great sign for Ward Melville. You see Gaffney just sort of sprinting off the field, not seemingly having any issues after that tackle. The PAT is up, and it is good. So 8:32 left here in the second quarter. Ward Melville extends their lead to 14-0. You're watching the Orland and Cone Game of the Week right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Arjulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino. See you later.
Going long, wide open, Perazzi, he gets it, Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, make it, touchdown, punch, counter punch.
The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman, what a catch,
practice, Ross Simmons strips him. That's loose, and Ross Simmons is going to take this the other direction. Make it! Touchdown! Touchdown East!
Welcome back to Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University. Dylan Butler, Mike Hungerford here. It is the Suffolk Division I qualifying round, and a great start for the Patriots of Ward Melville, your number 4 seed. They came in with a 5-3 record. Last couple times, Mike, they were in the postseason. They were an 8th seed, so some improvements there during the regular season for the Patriots, and they've got a nice 14-0 lead here early. Ball fielded at about the 8. Big time contact. They return to the 25-yard line. Looks like that was big number 57 in on that tackle, Aiden Klons.
You know, Dylan, high school football, you know, unlike college and the pros, is such a game of momentum, I believe, because you don't have the stoppages in play, but you have in college football and NFL football. You don't have the stoppages in play. And right now, Ward Melville scored. They ran off. They put a kickoff team on. They kicked off. They just seem like they're playing with a lot of energy and a lot of momentum. And Sachem North really needs right now to kind of bear down, get a few first downs to get the ball moving in their favor right now.
Is that a great name of a tackler too? Klons.
Klons. He got Klons.
1st and 10 for Sachem North from their own 25-yard line. Pressure comes again. The deep ball, and nearly intercepted by number 3 for Ward Melville, Lorenzo Velez. We've called his name a few times already, and it looked more likely of Velez getting this pick than it would have been a completion. And it looked like Dolan again, right, getting to the quarterback, Kelly.
Trying to take a deep shot there, you know, on Davidi, who's a nice tall target, and it's just not enough on the ball. I don't think he can step into it enough. You know, we have this you know, a replacement playing left tackle, and kind of having a tough time. They're helping him.
Look out, Kelly sacked again. Licavoli, 72. We've said, listen, that hole that we said, that monster hole, we couldn't really speak about it yet. That was Licavoli on offense. There you see his impact as well on the defensive side.
Sure, you can see right there, you know, Dolan's getting a lot of pressure. The back is helping the left tackle there, kind of like, you know, fend off Dolan, and leads there to be, you know, all basically one-on-ones on that offensive line now. There's a lot of one-on-ones going on. You got to win your battle, and Licavoli won his matchup and got free.
3rd and 22. Kelly dumps it down low. There's a flag on the play. It was a completed pass to the 10, but you get the feeling this is going to likely come back. But another cool thing here about number 72 for Ward Melville, Zach Licavoli, we said, right? He's the goalie for Ward Melville, and that's an important position, right? In terms of Ward Melville, you've got some really good players who have played that position. So Licavoli is there during the spring. He's going to go on and play lacrosse at Endicott, Division III. He wants to play football as well. He's kind of trying to see if he could do both on the D3 level.
Sure, my experience coaching the form, we had a lot of goalies that were linemen.
Yes, you did.
Played the line position, and
you had a few centers.
You have some good hands involved there, and some good understanding, and some smarts and everything, and a big body to get hit with the ball. Sometimes is never a bad thing.
4th and 15. That was a timeout now for Sachem North just before that ball was snapped. So that was a penalty that was declined. So 4th and 15. Let's take a look at the standings and kind of show you how these teams did during the regular season and their seedings here in the postseason. Our top 8 in Suffolk Division I. And again, you know, you're right there, 4-5 in this game, and it's a difference of 1 loss between the two. There you see Walt Whitman, one of the few undefeated teams left on Long Island in Big Boy Division I. Of course, the powerhouse that is William Floyd. And also congratulations to Paul Longo, their head coach. Just became the all-time leading winner in terms of public schools in Suffolk County. Congratulations to him. What a program, too, that he's got. Comac, there you see Ward Melville, Sachem North, Longwood, Riverhead back in the dance as well. And good to see Brentwood, too, there as well. Not those traditional, well, Riverhead has been, right, with Leaf Shea and those guys back in the day, but good to see Brentwood in there as well against a lot of those traditional powerhouses, right, with Longwood and Floyd. And these games here at Stony Brook, we've seen those programs be a part of this for many, many years. So nobody returning, and it takes that Hungerford bounce, if you will, for Sachem North. And Ward Melville will get going on their own 38-yard line.
You know, Dylan, to go back to Coach Longo for a second, was a tremendous program out of William Floyd. The last 20 years has clearly been, I would say the most consistently dominant team in Suffolk County, and not only is he run a great program, he's a class act.
Yes.
And a really good person, a really good man, and has mentored literally hundreds of kids out there at William Floyd High School. And I know the district's probably very proud of him, and it's pretty cool. He's the winningest coach in Suffolk County.
He's second to Rich Reichert in terms of overall. That's why they say public school. Rich Reichert out of St. Anthony's, obviously another program builder there as well. I have an interesting Longo note to tell you after this play. 1st and 10, inside handoff. There's Gaffney. Good to see him back as well, breaking tackles, getting about a gain of 8. So how about this? Longo is out at Floyd, right? I always refer to it as God's country because you're going out there, right? You think this is a far trip. Head out to William Floyd, right? You need about a day and a half if you're coming from your part of the woods in Farmingdale. But he's a New York Jets season ticket holder. How does he get to the Meadowlands from there every home game? How about that for Paul Longo? Maybe he's got a helicopter. I don't know.
He's got a great staff, too, because they must be watching a lot of film and helping him. He gets to go to 8 Jet games a year. Good for him. Good for him. I'll tell you what, the guy the kid running the ball here for Ward Melville, I really like him. He presses the line of scrimmage. He gets up inside.
Another high snap, and Prusen, you're lucky you've got an athletic quarterback there, right? Because he's able to jump up and take the loss, but certainly could have been a lot worse. And again, you kind of wonder, again, the field situation and the lights and everything kind of comes in. Snapping the football is a little bit of a tough situation. Josh Horvath, the center for Ward Melville, a basketball player as well, has a lot of raw talent in football. And this is a situation Chris Boltrick has kind of learned to live with a little bit. There's been some adventures in snapping the football this year for him.
It's not easy, especially right now. They're playing against an odd front defense, so as a nose guard directly over the center and he's got to get that ball snapped and try to step and block him one way or the other. So everyone says, he's just got to snap the ball. But when he snaps it, he has to step in a direction and make a play and then get smashed in the face by the nose guard. So it's much harder than people make it out to be. It's not an easy skill. And when in a game you're struggling with it, you start gripping the ball a little tighter and making it a little bit harder.
When we spoke with the Boltrick, you see him in the middle of that huddle there for Ward Melville, said, look, when he thinks of this season, he says it's been some of the best leadership that he's ever had from his senior group. They're very good about keeping the kids in the program, doing things our way, he called it. And it's really helped everything coalesce into a pretty good group of players. And when you look at their season as well, you had that week 1 loss against Comac, but you see Boltrick there in his 8th season out of Ward Melville, 2003 graduate. They played Comac week 1 in 3 villages. You cannot practice on Jewish holidays, right? So leading up to that game, they couldn't practice on Tuesday. They couldn't practice on Wednesday. It poured on Thursday, and now you play Comac on a Friday. So he said the last offensive plays that he ran that week was on Monday going into a Friday game. But they have bounced back, obviously, in a big way. Here's Prusen going long. Bounce jumped and incomplete. Velez was your intended target. Good job breaking that play up by number 10, Matthew Harlan.
Kind of stepped into that there. He had a kind of running back on a shallow wheel, and he took the deep shot on 3rd and long. And
that's a great play by Harlan.
Great play by Harlan, breaking it up. And they'll punt the ball here. Ward Melville up 14-0. And, seemingly Sachem North, they got what they needed. They needed a stop, right? And they got one right there, and hopefully they get a little offense moving here.
There's the punt, a line drive one, and this one also will not be returned. So there's that bounce that you often refer to. It will go for Ward Melville. So a game of field position here in the final 5 and change of the second quarter. But yeah, listen, Dave Caputo said we're a scrappy bunch defensively. And number 10 that we just saw there, Harlan, the junior, might be the scrappiest of them all, right? Where he's not like that super impressive dude like that you see just doesn't pass the eye test like a Joe Cruz does right on the line, but Harlan is legit. He's a really good player for them, and that was a huge play for them as well. But now they're backed up, and they haven't had good field position really all game to this point. They've had to push the ball long every time they've had the football. Some of it have been from defensive stops, but still, it's been a long distance here for Kelly to try to get his guys up the field. That first down pass was complete to number 88, Tyler Davidi, excuse me.
Yep, Tyler Davidi, a talented lacrosse player as well.
Yeah, LIU commit for Davidi.
And a nice job of like a little stop pattern right there, just getting 6 yards right there and getting something positive on first down.
Kelly goes to Davidi again, knows where he is in the field as well, right? Took a stop at the 35-yard line, protected the ball well, and there's that moving of the chains that Sachem North needed in the worst way.
Sometimes I think, Dylan, when you're in a playoff game and the kids realize the magnitude of, sometimes you have to just forget the magnitude and just play. It's just another game. It's just football. You have to go play and you have to just make the plays you would make in previous weeks. But when kids start worrying about, oh my God, it's a playoff game, and if we lose, the season's over, you start thinking too much, right? And I think maybe, by moving the ball a little bit and being successful, all of a sudden you take a deep breath, and it's not a playoff game, it's just a football game. And we're going to do what we've been doing the past few weeks and try to get on track. And these short passes, I think, are getting the Sachem offense on track.
And it's also getting Kelly into a little bit of a rhythm there as well, right? Where the pressure came there, was able to get it out to Eaton for a 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. Again, good protection. Running, though, and scampering. Look, you don't want to run towards Dolan, and there he is making the tackle, 52. That was a little bit of pick your poison, right, for Kelly. He goes to one side, and he sees Licavoli. He comes back the other way. There's Dolan.
Couldn't really get away. Great job by the lineman, just boxing him in there a little bit. I think, in an X and O standpoint, Dylan, the Sachem North guys are leaving the running back in to help pass block. In the absence of Cruz, and they're helping on the line, and they had a little trouble with some pass protection. So they're leaving the running back in, which is allowing Wood Melville's, edge walk away outside linebacker there to drop into coverage. I think that's where he looked. He didn't have him because he didn't have a player to cover in the pass. He could just drop and cover the lane.
3rd and 10. Kelly back to pass, dumps it over the middle, and that is incomplete. So you get a little bit of momentum, right? You get into a rhythm. You get hit for a big loss, and then you throw an incompletion, and suddenly now you're facing a 4th and 10 from your own 35-yard line and being forced to punt the football again.
I think if he had that play, he had that ball back again. He'd love to have that one back. He had the crosser. He had the crosser right there, shallow crosser, kind of wide open, and put the ball behind him and low. If he had that one back, he could be running for quite a while. And that's one of those plays when you look at the film, it's not always going to be perfect.
Escalante with the punt. A good one there. Takes a bounce, and again, it will not be returned. And we got Sachem North guys trying to push the ball a little bit, or get a little bit of a wind above it to force it a couple more yards out. That was Fontana leaving the ball for Ward Melville, and here they come on offense again. They've got a 14-0 lead. It was a Prusin touchdown run, 24 yards, and then Gaffney went for 13 yards, and that is your score right now, 14-0 with 3:01 left in this first half.
Huge series in the game right now, I believe. 3:01 to go in the half. Wood Melville, Sachem North's getting the ball to start the second half. They're down 14. Wood Melville probably say we'd be happy to get it going 14, but if we can get one more right now, it would definitely change the flavor of the game. And 21-0 puts the Sachem guys in a real hole. And right now, if they can get a stop, Sachem, maybe get the ball back and maybe drive and get some quick points before half, it'll really help. But if Wood Melville can find a way to score here, it'll change the entire complexion of the game.
That was Fontana with the gain on first down. 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7. Prusen goes quickly back to Fontana, and he is getting pulled backwards. He gets that forward momentum, which will get him the first down. And Fontana, you love him, a gym rat, a great leader. He works hard, and maybe most importantly, he's got great chemistry with Prusen as well.
Sure, chemistry is important with the receiver and the quarterbacks, and sometimes you just got to have a good feel for the guys you're playing with. And we'll see if Ward Melville makes a concerted effort to speed up here a little bit with 2 minutes to go before halftime, and try to push the ball down the field a little bit.
You see in the bottom of your screen, they've got 2 timeouts left. Prusen goes over the middle. That is complete to Velez. He gets taken down at the Sachem North 49-yard line.
Great play call by the Ward Melville staff right there, using that shallow crosser, gaining depth across the formation. They're playing zone coverage, so you get him open as he clears the linebackers. And the Sachem North guys, in high school football, you can collision that guy while he's running his route. Till the ball's in the air, they need to collision that guy up, or China call and collision him up, and not let him run free like that.
We'll take a quick break here as Ward Melville calls timeout. Patriots with a 14-0 lead. You're watching the Orland and Cone Game of the Week on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Welcome back to Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University. 1:45 left here in the first half. Patriots took a timeout. You see they've got 1 remaining here in the first half, and Sachem North with 2 left. And both coaches kind of talked about a healthy rivalry, right, brewing between these 2 programs where there's a lot of respect. They're hard-fought, physical but clean games between the 2. And look, rivalries oftentimes, if you're not in the next town, are built by important games. And games like this here, Prusen airs it out. He's got a man deep. It's, again, deflected away by Duval. What active hands Jalen Duval has had, the senior safety.
Looks like Fontana had a step, and the ball was just a little bit underthrown. And a great play by the safety there to get his hand up on the ball. I think Fontana thought that ball was going to the outside, and I think he threw it a little bit to the inside. And, I'd like to have that one back maybe.
I like that deep shot, though, there on first down off the timeout.
Dylan, if you score points here, it's 14-0. You've had a great first half. If you score points here, it's gravy.
Flag on the play. Prusen dumps it out to Fontana again. Kind of lost the tire there at the 26, but this likely will come back. And you can see hands on the head there by Prusen. It looked like it was maybe Dolan, but yeah, this will be an offensive holding penalty against Ward Melville.
It's a hold, Dylan, or I don't know if he signaled hold or not yet, but I thought Prusen was pretty close to going beyond the line of scrimmage, and there might have been a lineman downfield, so there are a lot of things going on there. And Prusen is very good at keeping plays alive in the pocket, and I mentioned some guys in the NFL keeping plays alive like that, like the Kyler Murray types who play around the pocket a little bit, and he's doing the same thing.
2nd and 20, a similar formation that we saw before, right, where Prusen has a lot of time. This time he's forced out of the pocket, and he's spun down. What makes you worry a little bit, I think, if you're Ward Melville, is the way Prusen's got that ball out in front of him, right? Not terrific ball protection there by Prusen, but hit for a big stop. So 3rd down now. Ward Melville again, Sachem North, as we're approaching a minute, they have still 2 timeouts left. They're not taking one of them here. I'm a little bit surprised here because it's 3rd and 18.
Well, I think if you Sachem North, if they get a first, maybe they just want to get to halftime and get reorganized a little bit and say, put this half behind us and crew's not in the game and not a lot's going right, and let's get in there and just figure out what we can run. Let's just get out of here and get organized.
3rd and 20. They fake to the motion. There's Gaffney bouncing it to the outside. Good pursuit of the football by that Sachem North defense. So it's a short gain on 3rd down, but with the time remaining, you see at the bottom of your screen, really, where Melville doesn't have to take or make another play, right? Where the time will just go down. But listen, they're trailing 14-0, but you got to give credit here for the defense of Sachem North. They have played a lot of downs and a lot of time on the field, but they've played well.
They've played pretty well. They've been in some pretty tough situations. The offense have put them in some tough spots, and they've played pretty well. And they're getting the ball to start the half, so they can come out and get a drive established and get some points. They can turn the whole momentum of the game in the first drive of the second half.
So 2 rushing touchdowns for Ward Melville. Chris Prusen and Nick Gaffney are the guys who have scored the ball there, and they've got Ward Melville leading 14-0 here at the break. We'll take a quick timeout, but we'll show you the band here. A great band, obviously, here at Ward Melville at 3 Village, and we'll show you those performance by the band at halftime here. It's the Orland and Cone Game of the Week on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Running for the train, derail your knee? We've got specialists for that. Diving after that grounder leaving you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Over the middle, he's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino. See you later.
Going long, wide open, Perazzi, he gets it, Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, make it, touchdown, punch, counter punch.
The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman. What a catch!
Just Ross Simmons strips him, that's loose, and Ross Simmons is going to take this in the other direction. Make it, touchdown, touchdown East.
Right under pressure, he's got a man. That's complete inside the 10. Touchdown Southside. We've got a good secondary, so if they're passing a lot, he kind of likes where they are. There's Robbins, though, the powerful runner. Cam Robbins breaks 2 tackles, breaks a 3rd tackle, and he's in for the score.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net. Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
Welcome back to Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University. It's halftime here in the Division I quarterfinals, and the Patriots with a 14-0 over the Flaming Arrows of Sachem North, the 4-5 game here in big boy football out in Suffolk County. Dylan Butler, Mike Hungerford here. And Mike, it was Warren Melville knocking on the door, possession after possession early on. They weren't able to get in the end zone until Chris Prusen put on his Superman cape here. Gets to the outside, 24-yard touchdown. Little jump in just for good effect. And that put the Patriots up 7-0 with about 5 seconds left in the first quarter. So Prusen, we talked about his leadership, about how important he is, but so too is Nick Gaffney. And Gaffney extended the lead for the Patriots with this 13-yard touchdown run. Again, taking a defender with him, taking a big hit as well at the end zone, and gets in. And that is your score right now after the first 24 minutes of football. So Ward Melville in control, but certainly not comfortable at this stage, right? We want to see how both teams deal with halftime. One of the bigger storylines, we mentioned it, and Mike, you pointed it out in the first half, was Joe Cruz, the lineman, the two-way lineman, 4-year starter for Sachem North, was out there early, appeared to be injured, was sidelined for most of that first half. So that's a storyline that we certainly are going to have to follow as well going into the second half if Big Joe Cruz is able to play in the second half.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, not always the physical nature of him having to get him what he brings to the game physically at a player committed to a Power 5 conference program in the ACC at Syracuse University, but the mental drain on the team, not having him in the lineup and playing and having to overcome, what's going on with him. So, we'll see how this progresses. But, things are never as good as they seem or as bad as they seem.
That's right.
And right now, Wood Melville, it's 14-0, but with Sachem getting the ball, and Sachem's only had a couple first downs, I think, the entire half, but they get in the ball and they can right the ship here and get a drive going and find some plays at work for them. And if they score, put a massive amount of pressure on Ward Melville to get a drive going themselves, and now you're kind of back to even a little bit.
We mentioned that first matchup, right, between these two teams. It was out here at Ward Melville, and it was a Week 3 win for Ward Melville, 19-18. In that game, Chris Gaffney, 114 all-purpose yards, 3 touchdowns. Prusen had 52 yards rushing, 120 yards in the air. Kevin Dolan, again, right, what an impact he had here in the first half. 5 tackles for losses, 1 sack, a blocked PAT. Now, the blocked PAT ended up being huge because Tyler Hall, who rushed for 3 touchdowns for Sachem North, scores late. The decision was made by Dave Caputo, and he put it on his shoulders in our conversation. He decided to go for 2, going for the win on the road. The pass was incomplete, so it was a 1-point win for Ward Melville. And then when the season kind of progresses after Week 3, that's the difference between the 4th seed and the 5th seed. So this game isn't out at Sachem North. It's here at Stony Brook, and so far it's Ward Melville with the early lead. But Sachem North looking to have that response here early in this second half.
Sure, Coach Caputo talked to us about how he felt like, and the players on the Sachem North team felt like this was the matchup they wanted doing, right? They wanted to get another chance at Ward Melville, who they thought they could have won the game. It was a pretty even game. It was highly competitive, and they have this, they said, healthy and respectful rivalry, and they were happy to get this matchup. And hopefully for the Flaming Arrow fans out there, they can come out and put something together in this half based on what they can get, what they could figure out didn't work in the first half and what plays did work, and put something together.
There's Chris Kelly. Got into a rhythm late in that second quarter, but it was quickly extinguished. His first pass was incomplete. The intended target was Duval. Duval, we might see him at times in the backfield to try to be that lightning to Tyler Hall's thunder, but very much the Sachem North playmaker out of that wide receiver spot.
Well, I think that, Sachem North's answer is they've had a lot. When they stood back there and tried to throw deeper passes, there was a lot of pressure put on by the Ward Melville front. And here they've tried to go with a little 3-step, quick-step passing game, trying to get in and out of his hands. And we have to play catch now.
Look out. Kelly scrambles off his back foot. What a completion! A first down and more. Maybe a lot more. What a play there by Sachem North. It was complete to Vince Laffey, the sophomore.
Dylan, I'm looking in my head. He's scrambling around a little bit. And I'm like, oh, he's going to run. And I'm saying to myself, run. And at the last minute before he crosses the line, he throws it. And what a great decision.
I mean, on his back foot, finds Laffey, the sophomore, who's had a great second half of this season for Sachem North. And what a big play this could be, for the Flaming Arrows. They finally moved the football down. Now Kelly again slings it, goes to the outside, finds, looks to be Laffey again.
Yep, yeah, pretty good pitch and catch right there, getting 8 yards right there, in and out of his hands. And you saw on the play, he made the great play 2 plays ago. Though he was standing back there for a while, and there was pressure. So the quick 3-step passing game out of the gun might be something a little bit better for them right now than standing back there and trying to run those longer patterns.
2nd and 2 from the 25. Kelly over the middle, looking for Duval, and this might be a pass interference penalty. Some contact there between Duval and it looked like maybe Petruzzi, number 1 for Ward Melville, maybe dueling ones. And we'll see the call here. It is pass interference. And actually, sorry, it was not Petruzzi. You saw him there as the trail guy. So how about this sort of right out of the gate, right out of the halftime here for Sachem North? You get a big play to Laffey, another 8-yard shot to him, then a 15-yard personal foul, and now you're in the red zone.
Yeah, I think you had to call that because he played through the receiver to get to the ball, right? Had to play through the receiver, and you can't. That's gonna throw the flag every time. And now you have Sachem who hadn't crossed the 50-yard line the whole half, and now they're knocking on the door.
Kelly, he will go end zone, jump ball, and that is incomplete. It honestly looked more like Velez who had inside position, right, for that ball, but that's kind of when your wide receiver turns into the defensive back and breaks the play up.
Sure, Velez, he had inside leverage right there, so he forced the quarterback to have to throw the ball, put a pylon or the outside to throw a perfect throw, and it's just hard to throw those balls. That's why you need inside leverage, especially down by the goal line, to force use the sideline as your 12th defender, your extra defender, right? Make the quarterback throw the perfect ball.
2nd and 10 from the 12-yard line. Kelly rolls to the right. Again goes end zone. Touchdown, Sachem North. Tyler DeViti, a 12-yard touchdown reception. Game on.
Just what the doctor would order if you were a Sachem North fan right there. A parent, a fan, a student, whoever you want to say, you're rooting for them. Just what they needed was a good drive right there. And your quarterback, who's your Mr. Everything, who Coach Caputo says the team has to go on his back, he put him on their back right there for a bunch of plays. And just when he's going to run and scramble and run, he plays Ken Stabler or Fran Tarkington, bringing back the old school guys and finds plays and finds guys open. And that's awesome quarterback play.
You're forcing, as Escalante's PAT is up and good, you're forcing some of these guys now to go to YouTube to try to figure out who you were talking about. I certainly understand it, but a little bit of an older age of QB. But there you see DeViti, number 88. What a great play for him, as Sachem North has cut into their deficit. It's only 7 points. Don't go anywhere. We've got a great one here for you. 10:20 left here, third quarter. It's the Orland and Cone Game of the Week on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orland and Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
We welcome you back to Stony Brook University, Laval Stadium. 14-7 is your score, as Sachem North right out of the locker room. What an important first drive for them, and it was Chris Kelly leading the way. And there you see Big Joe Cruz, and what's good to see there, at least, you see him walking around, right? So we don't know quite what his ailment is. He certainly doesn't have a helmet, and actually even on him, which that's never a good sign, but he's walking around under his own power. Short kick. What a great job in coverage there. We got to give credit on special teams, right? That was Tyler Hall. We saw what he could do on the offense, right? But how about Hall getting in and making sure Murray's return is a short one? 30 it was for Sachem North, not Hall. That was Penica, Andrew Penica.
Short kickoff right there, and he tried to come across kick it across the field east-west, and Penica with the tackle right there. Nice play.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Where Melville's first drive of the second half. Here is Prusen. Gets a nice block from the outside. That was Fontana doing so, and that's a little bit of what you've been saying in the first half, is that the skill guys do a great job too of blocking on the edge, and that's what Fontana did, allowing Prusen to get a couple yards.
Sure, and once again, we have high school teams playing on a college field with the narrow hash marks, and depending on how you align your defense, if you're a field or boundary defense, depending on how you align yourselves, the boundary is bigger than it usually is on a high school field, and that could affect things a little bit.
2nd and 7 in motion is Fontana. He's got a blocker upfield in Licavoli, and he'll get out to about the 39-yard line.
Looks like Sachem was trying to commit an extra defender up on the line of scrimmage here, and that odd front look, and add a defender to almost make it a four-man line right there. Try to take some of that running lanes away that Ward Melville's been opening up.
I think if you are Sachem North, this is a big play here. If you can get the stop after finding the end zone and cutting your deficit in half, now you follow the momentum that started with your offense and you continue it with your defense. However, Prusen says, we're moving the chains. He finds Fontana. Fontana entered this game with 27 receptions for 366 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Fontana, an important catch there to move the chains.
Great play call right there, a great execution by the Ward Melville by Prusen, and just find the open receiver. He's got 2x2. He's got doubles, and he just finds the receiver without the overhang player. Right now, there's no overhang to the bottom of the screen here on the boundary. He just picked him out and threw it to him.
High snap. Prusen again goes to Fontana. He is taken down as there's a flag on the play. Harlan with the tackle.
We might have a lineman downfield.
And there you go. That's the call. So this will push Ward Melville back.
That's your RPO kind of look there, Dylan, right? You run pass option, and sometimes I wonder. I talk to some friends of mine who are high school coaches and used to coach, and we talk about whatever happened to play action passing. Just you're going to throw it, but you're going to fake the run without an RPO. And the danger of the RPO is the downfield lineman, right, like you have right there. And there is part of your issue is that you get a lineman downfield on run blocking. He was uncovered and didn't maintain the line of scrimmage, and ends up downfield.
1st and 15 from the 42-yard line. Prusen will hand off. It's Gaffney, and again, great pursuit to the football, and looks like leading the way there again. Number 30, Andrew Penica, the junior. He's grabbed this starting position as a linebacker midway through the season. He did not start in that first game against Ward Melville, but they watched the film. They said they were a little bit slow defensively, so they brought Penica in, and he certainly brought some of that speed, the important speed needed for the Flaming Arrows defense.
Sure, absolutely. You got to have it in the day of spread offenses now. You need some speed guys to run around and match that offensive speed.
Prusen forced out of the pocket, dumps it to Velez, and he is thrown down. There he is again. Penica, the junior.
Both quarterbacks kind of moving around the pocket a little bit, keeping the play alive, extending a little bit, giving their linemen a little bit of help with the pass blocking in terms of keeping a play alive, and finding an open man right there and giving them a pretty makeable 3rd and 5 here. And a little bit of pressure on the Ward Melville offense. They've at least flipped the field. If they have to punt, they'll probably pin Sachem deep. But if they can get a first down here, it keeps it going a little bit.
Prusen rolls right, breaks a tackle, and that will get him the first down that he needs. Stays up, though. Continues to go, and he churns those legs out to about the 27-yard line. Chris Prusen is as advertised.
Well, he escaped the first tackler, who kind of went low, and he kind of stepped through him. And I think a lot of his Sachem players thinks he was going to go out of bounds. And all of a sudden, he's like, I'm not going to go out of bounds.
Yeah, once you break the first, that's the thing about any of these playmakers, right? You've got to get hats to the football. You've got to wrap up on that first opportunity. They had that back at about the 50. Instead, now it's a 1st and 10 for Ward Melville at the 28-yard line.
Reminds me of another quarterback playing in New York, and not in New York City, a quarterback playing in Buffalo, right?
And how about this run? And another touchdown for Gaffney. This a 28-yard score.
Use that jet fly motion fake and hand it back to Gaffney coming back. Some good line play right there. Some good blocking up front by Ward Melville. I think they pulled Dolan there. Might have pulled Dolan on the wrap there. I didn't see it exactly. I missed the replay. Apologize. Pretty excited here, Steve. Another run, and Dolan's pretty athletic and very physical, and he can run through tacklers.
We'll show you that replay again, right? Because you missed it. You said the first time. As here is that play again. There is 52. You saw him.
Yep. Got to run a wrap there, pulling him and off the action, and big play, big answer for Ward Melville right there, Dylan.
And the answer comes as we expect from Gaffney. What a baller he is. And here is that other look. Breaks the tackle at the 10. Goes into the end zone for his 12th touchdown of the year. So that's the response for Ward Melville that you wanted, right? And you're up now 21-7. This again, the 4-5 game. The 1-8 game between undefeated Walt Whitman and Riverhead at number 8. We believe started at 6. We'll try to get you guys a score of that if we can as we continue on here tonight. But it's night 1 of the playoffs. You've got playoff action in Suffolk and Nassau and the Catholic Football League as well. Fielded and fumbled at the 10-yard line. It's recovered again, and a short return there for Duval.
Yep, Dylan, you have an SAT day, I believe, tomorrow, so you have some different start times, and people don't have lights starting earlier, trying to stay in the daylight, and people with lights playing. I think a lot of people are trying to play tonight, and not as many schools, I think, are playing tomorrow with the SAT. At some schools going on, so try to get some scores, and we get them on that famous the Twitter, famous app called Twitter that gives you all kinds of information. And if you Sachem now, you can't trade.
Yeah.
Can't be trading now. You were down 2 scores, and now you're back down 2 scores. You need to, high school football is not as long a game as college football, pro football is 12-minute quarters, and tends to go a little bit faster. And next thing you know, we'll be in the 4th quarter. You can't really trade.
Kelly goes to the outside. That is incomplete. Trying to find Duval.
They had a little quad look out. They had 4 receivers out there. Right? They were going to throw it to Duval, and Duval was either going to run around with it as a screen, or he was going to throw it, and that ball came in a little hot for Duval.
2nd and 10 from the 22-yard line here at Stony Brook. Laval Stadium, it's your site of championship games here in Suffolk County, and also one of your Long Island championship sites. And that's a completion to Eaton, but he is eaten up defensively. Look like Licavoli again, 72, showing that athleticism.
I always see Petruzzi around, though. That guy number 1, he seems to be standing up at the ball every time. He got a nose for the football, that young man.
Yeah, you see one there following up, right? But he's right there. He's the next guy. 3rd and 7. From the 25-yard line. Look out. Dolan forces Kelly to get out. That's a good job by Kelly, breaking the first tackle, also realizing what he needed to get the first down, and slides at the 35-yard line to move the chains for the Flaming Arrows.
Sure, just get what you need and don't risk having a turnover or having a negative play, and get down and live to fight the next play. And that was a much-needed first down by Sachem right there.
Sachem North, their last playoff win. You have to go back to 2013. Guess what? Right here on this field, they defeated William Floyd to win the Suffolk Championship, their first Suffolk title since 1995, and then they beat a program that you know well, Farmingdale, to win the LIC. What a grab! Athleticism galore by Davidi.
Tell you, pretty good coverage. It's just Davidi's just very tall and outleaped the high point of the ball.
29-yard gain for Davidi. He will be a close defenseman in college for Long Island University. Here, he's trying to will Sachem North back into the end zone.
He's a tough matchup, Davidi. He's 6'4", right? And a tough matchup.
1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Look out. Kelly is dumped. A host of tacklers led by Big 52, Kevin Dolan.
So I think the Ward Melville coaching staff said, we're not going to play this one straight up. We're going to come. We're going to bring people. And they brought extra people on the blitz and more players than Sachem could block. And when you bring one more, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah, Licavoli was in there as well. You had Reddig. Josh Reddig as well. Dolan is a great story. We'll get to it when we have an opportunity. 2nd and 17 from the 43-yard line. Again, Kelly is pressured, goes for DeViti, and there is a flag on the play. It was thrown right towards that little wrestling match with DeViti.
Definitely a lot of hands on each other there. Once the ball gets in the air, you're going to have a foul, and that's going to be a problem.
Barring upsets here in Suffolk Division 1, the winner of this game would go on and play undefeated, top-seeded Walt Whitman, which defeated Riverhead 48-0 in their quarterfinal round game. So Walt Whitman, not that traditional program, right, where we talk about the Floyds and even the Longwoods and Sachem back in the day, right? Walt Whitman having an opportunity here this year. They've got a great quarterback as well, and they're looking to make a push.
They've had a great spring, Whitman, and they've carried it over to the fall, and they've they beat Floyd in the regular season, and they're going to have to eventually maybe beat him again. Betting man would say they'll be in the final. I know a lot of the schools like that have something to do with that, but probably would be your prohibitive final matchup.
And there again is that dual threat defensively for Ward Melville, right? Dolan comes in, he forces Kelly back. Watch Dolan 52, right? Now you've got to step in, and who do you step into? But Licavoli, right? As well as Reddig.
I think what you're seeing from Ward Melville, Dylan, is they have these athletic defensive linemen, and they're not enormous guys. They're great. They're very nice sized players, but they're not enormous guys, but they're athletic and they can run around. And obviously, Dolan's a midfielder in lacrosse, right, and can run around. So, pretty tough guys to block.
And again, nowhere to go. What a tackle for a loss.
Finnerty. Just bringing extra guys, right?
Oh.
It's all one-on-ones. You have 5 blockers and a back. The back is helping on one a little bit, and you get a lot of one-on-ones. And as we like to say, as a defensive coach, you got to win a matchup, right? Win your matchup, and you get a sack.
How about this from Finnerty? First year playing football. He's a basketball guy. Decided, you know what? I'm a senior. I'm going to come out, play a little football. And look what he's doing here. There's been a learning curve, obviously, throughout the season, but he's done a tremendous job for someone who's never laced him up on this football field before. And obviously, that great size, right? 6'6", 190. So, 4th and 15 from the 40. Ward Sachem North will go for it. Again, Kelly under pressure. Nowhere to go. Forced backwards, a host of Ward Melville Patriot defenders in his grill.
Right now, Dylan, the player of the game is the Ward Melville defensive line. Take them all. Throw a couple linebackers in there, and their front 7 has been very, very tough to deal with. I mean, obviously the loss of Joe Cruz has got something to do with it, I think. But they've been very tough to deal with up front.
So those guys up front you mentioned, the 4-man front, you've got Dolan, Moore, Brereton, and Licavoli up front. That's your front 4 for Ward Melville. And a couple of those guys just stay on and then switch over sides in Dolan and Licavoli. They're your left side of this offense here as it's 1st and 10 from the 41. Prusin calls his own number, cuts it inside for a short gain. Here's what I wanted to say before about Dolan, right? So he's brought up to varsity as a 10th grader. He's been a starting defensive end for 3 years, so that's the fun part of it, right? Again, you mentioned a Fairfield lacrosse commit. He's having fun out there. He's playing a little bit of that tight end position, right? This year, though, the coaching staff led by Chris Boltrick said to him, listen, we need you at your size at 6'5", 225. We need you to play left tackle, right? And that's not a sexy position. You're not catching touchdown passes or making these big runs. Dolan, all he said was, yes, coach, whatever's best for the program, I will do that. And that's a scholarship lacrosse player deciding to do that hard work up front that Kevin Dolan is doing. We already know that he's one of the most dominant defensive linemen in D1, but also he's showing his impact and the pride that he has in this team and at that position by playing left tackle as well.
Sure, tremendous story, and a guy that just wants to go out a winner, right? He wants to go out, have a great senior year and do whatever it takes for a team to win. And when these guys 20 years from now, they'll forget a little bit less about who scored what touchdowns and who did what, but they'll remember all being part of a great group of guys, and looks like a winning squad right now.
All right, so we just made another lacrosse reference for Melville. Let's see if our phones blow from Jay Negus again.
Coach Negus appears to be taking in the broadcast. He's a tremendous coach out at Ward Melville, great program, one of the most powerful public school programs in the United States. So hopefully he'll give us a buzz.
There we go. Well, we'll take that buzz here at the end of the third quarter. We'll go to break here. It's 21-7 for the Patriots here on the Orland and Cone Game of the Week on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
Welcome back to Laval Stadium, a 3rd and 3, and that is complete. The Patriots will move the chains again, and it is Fontana. Mike, we've seen a whole host of receivers, right, for Chris Prusen, Fontana, Murray, Velez, and there is, again, Fontana moving the chains.
Very, very impressed, very crisp, short passing game, quarter roll, however you want to describe it. The short passing game for Wood Melville is very, very good. They complete a lot of passes, very accurate.
And there we go again, cutting it inside and then bouncing it outside, and forced out of bounds was Gaffney. We've seen that play a few times, right, where you get Murray out into space, and you gotta respect that possibility, and then you go the other way, hand it off to 23.
Sure, you pull the lineman around, and you show that you have the fake for the jet sweep, and been very effective tonight. Saw a touchdown play on it before, and kind of leaning on it a little bit, and getting themselves in a really nice 2nd and 3. Probably could run the ball a few times here now, and he went out of bounds to stop the clock. But if you Wood Melville, you want to wind that clock and keep that thing working now.
Well, what he did before that was he brought the contact, which you love to see, right, as well. Lowering the shoulder into Penica as well. Gaffney again. This time runs between tackles. Just kind of got tripped up, but still plenty that he needed there to get the first down.
Sure, this is a tough part of the game now for Sachem North. They're down 2 scores. They're in their own end of the field, facing their own end zone a little bit. And they're going to have to, make a play. Need a play here. Need a turnover. A big tackle for a loss, something to get Ward Melville off track.
Your other 2 matchups tomorrow in Suffolk Division 1, as again, they will hand off, and there is Gaffney again just pushing forward. You've got Brentwood playing at Floyd at 1 o'clock, a 1:30 start for Longwood at Comac. That could be an interesting one as well. Those 2 teams played to a very close game this year between Longwood and Comac.
Sure, Comac a little return to the playoffs for Comac. A little improvement there, great to see. And Longwood, one of the mainstays in Division 1 Suffolk, in the playoffs as well.
And this time, Gaffney still was able to spin out of trouble, gets it to the 30.
Lost a 1 though there, Dylan, and that's kind of the play sort of that Sachem North needed in this set of downs, right? Was to make a play and get them off schedule. And now they have 3rd and 8, and now you get value judgment for Ward Melville. Do we want to throw it? Want to keep the clock moving? Where are we throwing it?
You mentioned Longwood before, right? And their head coach, Jeff Sipp. And when you mentioned the name Sipp, right? What a legendary name here in Suffolk County. And Bellport, of course, you think of, and Joe Sipp, and a great coaching tree there. Back foot, incomplete pass. How about the referee, right? Let's get down. Looked like it was wrestling there, and he was getting down to give a 3 count.
Yeah, it looks like the ball was mishandled a little bit there. He was right on top of it. Crowd isn't happy, but the referee's much closer than anyone else is. So, but I'm still, once again, though, impressive short passing game by Ward Melville right there. Just, a little quarter roll to the boundary. Receiver knows how much he needs. Sit it down and get what he needs.
4th and 8, and obviously considering where you are, right, you obviously go for it here if you are Ward Melville. Prusen, look out, just dumps it over the middle. Nobody there, though, so excitement on that far sideline for Sachem North as they get the turnover on downs. This is game 1 of 2 for us here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We stay in Suffolk County. We head to Northport tomorrow afternoon in Suffolk Division 2. Another 4-5 matchup. It's the Tigers of Northport against the West Islip Lions. Again, a close game, 21-7 in the regular season. Kickoff on that one, 1 o'clock. Another Orland and Cone game of the week between 2 traditional powerhouses. West Islip, the defending Suffolk 2 champions, having to go to Northport. Always a great atmosphere as well out at Northport. 1 o'clock. You want to miss it right there on our YouTube channel on Varsity Media Sports Network.
But Dylan, we saw Northport a couple weeks ago against Half Hour Hills East, which is a very powerful club, and Northport went toe-to-toe with them for 3 and 3/4 quarters, right, of the game, almost the whole game. And I was very impressed with Northport. And I think, West Islip, the powerful running team with a lot of good athletes, and but still with defending champions, right? And we'll see what that happens tomorrow. It should be a good game.
And another matchup as well of coaches who both played and have been part of their coaching staff as assistants and then as head coaches as well, between Pat Campbell for Northport and Steve Maletti, of course, the longtime head coach. There you see the brackets again here in Suffolk Division 1. So if we had a telestrator, we can pencil in, or at least kind of pen in there, number 1, Walt Whitman. I wouldn't put a lot of solace there in the days there. That's not necessarily set in stone there, as the 1-4 game isn't necessarily going to be Saturday and the 2-3 isn't necessarily going to be Friday, but they both could be Friday, they both could be Saturday, but those are your matchups. And again, it's the highest seeds against the lowest remaining seed. So if there is an upset here in the games tomorrow, let's say Longwood wins, then Longwood would then go and play Walt Whitman, not necessarily the winner of this game.
Sure, it adds a little flavor to the playoffs, having the reseeding. Interesting way to do it.
Kelly, kind of forced one, but was fortunate. There were a lot of Ward Melville defenders there, but it was a complete pass. It was about as perfect as a throw you can get. Duval, the receiver.
He got it out of his hand, and Dolan was rounding the corner there, He was coming around the edge there, and, the Sachem right tackle there, Jacquez, had his hands full with Dolan.
Kelly lobs one, looking again, and there's the intended target once again. Showcasing the size was Davidi.
Coach, what am I supposed to do? This guy's really tall and can really jump, and it's kind of a simple game. When Kelly let the ball was kind of hanging in the air, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He's throwing it to his buddy Davidi, who's really tall, and turning it into a rebound, a jump ball, a Randy Moss special.
Because of the matchup problems that he often has, you don't have to throw a perfect ball, right? You just kind of put it in his area code, and Davidi's able to come down with it. Look out, Kelly again, forced out of his pocket, scrambles. Ooh, that's a tough pass. maybe again right from that Mahomes school a little bit, tried to dump it out, but that was an incomplete pass.
You know why I'm okay with that, Dylan? Because it stops the clock. It's 8:31 to go in the game, and you need 2 scores. And if he runs around with it and gets 4 yards, they probably don't snap the ball again until 8 minutes. So now, at least they save some time there. They'll trade it down for time because time is not really on their side, even though you could score onside kick, get it back. But probably got to score, got to move it along a little bit here.
Second and 10 from the 37-yard line, and flags immediately. Likely some motion there on that offensive line.
Generally, if it's motion on the offense, they won't let the down play out, or so they'll stop it. And
nice crowd here on a Friday night out at Stony Brook, and again a short trip, right, for the Ward Melville student body and their fans here in the 3 Village area.
Yeah, pretty cool, Dylan, right? Like, the Stony Brook University, and it's in the 3 Village School District, and, Ward Melville needed, I guess, a favor of sorts to be able to play here and ask for it, and Stony Brook obliged their educational neighbor, right? And
Kelly slings it, and what a great pass that was again. Davidi, look, it's one thing when you get up there and you get the mismatch, but now he's showing more of his ability there, sliding in at the 30 to make that catch.
Sure, Davidi come a little bit of a curl pattern right there, sitting it down and getting what they needed, and actually it's a little bit short, my mistake. I thought he got the yardage needed.
Yeah, 3rd and 3 from the 30-yard line. But yeah, not a bad secondary option if you're Ward Melville, right? Like, you can't play at home. Hey, how about we go to Stony Brook University and have our home game? 3rd and 3. Big play here for Kelly. Slings it, goes over the top to Duvall. A first down. He's taken down at the 21-yard line.
Good route combination right there. They cleared that overhang defender and threw it in behind his ear. You can see by the back flaring, they were able to clear that overhang defender. The defensive end, it looks like the linebacker both went that way a little bit. And he cleared that window, throw it in there to get that first down. That was a nice combo.
1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. There's a good look at Jalen Duvall. And similar to Ward Melville, a lot of different receivers. Again, the pressure comes rolling the other way. That's a great pass and catch inside the 5-yard line. The reception made by Laffey, and that was my point exactly, Mike. You're utilizing several different receivers if you're Kelly. You're finding Duvall, you're finding Davidi, and you're finding Laffey as well as Eaton.
Sure, and they're just back there playing pitch and catch now. Every down, some route combinations, some plays, and the clock just winded again. And we got 7 minutes to go here, Dylan. If they could punch it in here, plenty of time they could punch it in short order here.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line for Sachem North. Timeout is called by Ward Melville. So not only, Mike, are we the home to a lot of these playoff games throughout Long Island, we're also your exclusive broadcast partner of the Catholic High School Football League Championships from Mitchell Athletic Complex on November 20th. Mike, we've got all 3 games, the AA2, the AA1, and the AAA, the Big Boy Catholic High School Football League Championship games, all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network YouTube channel. I will be there for all 3. You want to hit that button on the lower right there, your subscribe button as well. It's going to be a great afternoon of football out at Mitchell Athletic Complex, and those playoffs have just started as well here tonight. Big one out at St. Anthony's, where the Friars are taking on the Cardinal Hayes Cardinals.
Sure, the Catholic League playoffs a little bit of a tri-state flavor to it in terms of not tri-state but other parts of New York, Westchester, New York City,
yeah,
and a little more of a regional flavor
yes,
to it than just Long Island, interestingly enough. And always some very good football at those schools. And if you like high school football, good place to be on the 20th.
Yeah, I'll be on for all 3 of those. We'll see how my voice is by the time the AAA championship comes around, right? First and goal from the 5. Kelly takes it himself. Runs right. Ooh, there's a flag on the play. Kelly's in the end zone. And this could be really damaging here for Sachem North because Kelly was going to come in anyway. So if it was a hold there by the end zone, you didn't even need it if you're Sachem North.
Back judge came right in and threw that flag. You saw something. Normally the back judge, might not get involved in holding too much there, but in terms of down by the goal line, he's pretty close now.
A devastating penalty there for Sachem North. Again, we saw the way that the play developed. You didn't need a hold. Kelly, the way he was angled as well, he was getting in the end zone. So you go from a first and goal from the 5 or even getting in the end zone to backing it up now to a first and goal from the 15-yard line.
Yeah, it's just a killer, It's one of those things, and obviously you got a hold of a guy's jersey, and you got his hand outside of him, and you're preventing him from going where he wants to go, and tough call for Sachem here.
Kelly looks, slings, has a man! Incomplete. Intended target was Laffey, and he was right there at the end zone.
Laffey came open, and I think he was moving. He's left-handed, right? He's throwing it left-handed. He was moving a little bit to his right and had to turn his body just a little bit and just couldn't put it on him. Oh, man, he wants that one back.
Got to lead him, right? Bring it.
He's swiveling his body around, kind of running against him, moving against the grain a little bit, and he'll take that one back.
Second and goal from the 15. Look out. Kelly under pressure gets out of it. Interception at the 10-yard line. And look at this return to the 20, the 30. There's blockers up the field. From the 10 to the end zone. Touchdown, Ward Melville, Josh Reddick.
No flags. Varsity Media top 10. There we go, right there. Who needs Sports Center when you got Varsity Media top 10, Dylan?
A 90-yard interception, touchdown. Here it is again. Jumps the route at the 10. How about this job, too? Just he turns into like a running back, and then you got your boys blocking for you as well, right?
Just get a great touch right there. You don't got to put guys on the floor. You just got to get touches. Just got to get touches in the front. Block back. There you go. No flags, and off to the house.
That was Velez 3 with that big block. Flags on the PAT. What a momentum changer that is, right? Because you're about to get in the end zone as Sachem North, right? And you did get in and got called back on an offensive holding. Then you had a pass that was incomplete, and then a 90-yard return for the touchdown, and what a difference maker that is. So now you go from maybe 21-14, brand new ball game, 6:17 left, to 27-7 with this pending PAT. And the Sachem North fans, you see them there at the top of your screen there. They are heading for the exits. The PAT is up, and that is good.
Well, Dylan, it's not the Ed Reed 109-yard variety, but it's actually about 160 yards he ran.
I was going to say, because he went
all the way across the field. And I was saying to myself, Dylan, as he's running across the field, just don't anything bail with the ball, right? You don't need to score. You just need the ball. What do I know? He wants to score. He wants to take it to the house, just like it looks like some of the fans taking it in. It looks like right there. Tough go over Sachem North. You're on the cusp of scoring. You get a late flag, you get a hold, you move it back. You have an open receiver, you just can't play catch, and then you get the quarterback trying to make a play, just doesn't see him, and you get a pick six out of it. So, crazy turn of events for in this game.
A 90-yard interception return for TD. And you got to say, too, we've mentioned Reddick's name a few times on specials.
Yep.
He's been on tackles. So not to say that was coming necessarily, but it's certainly well earned there by Reddick.
Great play, and certainly shows quite a bit of athleticism running around with the ball, right?
So it's now 28-7 for Ward Melville with 6:17 left in the fourth quarter.
Dylan, I don't know if we said anything earlier. Maybe I missed it, but it looks like Walt Whitman has defeated Riverhead.
Yeah,
we said that. We did say that.
We did,
sorry,
yeah.
I apologize.
It was like election night where we kind of called that one early.
Okay. So they'll move on, and it looks like 6:12 left. Sachem's got a ways to go here to get back in this one. 3 scores to tie. Looks like Melville might be moving on.
I know in Nassau County, Massapequa was having a hard time with.
They did pull a win out.
They did pull out that win against Port Washington, and Farmingdale was in a very tight one against
Farmingdale won
Freeport.
21-20. Massapequa did win. Syosset did win. So right now, the higher seeds have held serve so far in Conference 1.
I thought Greg Sauer at Newsday had a great stat, and I'm not remembering it exactly, but I could tell you one thing. Your 1-8 matchup, it's kind of like the NCAA tournament, right? With that, and the 64 field or 64 team field, where the 8 has only beaten the 1 once ever, and that was actually West Babylon against West Islip in either county, right? So it's if you're the 1 seed, and that was what Walt Whitman was, and what Oceanside, what Massapequa was. So that was maybe almost history in the making there by Port Washington, but Massapequa held on and won that one.
Generally speaking, no disrespect to anyone that's been in any of those spots, but the 1-8 game is the one team usually is not limping into the playoffs. They're driving themselves in at 7-1 or 8-0. And usually the 8th seed is kind of maybe dragging themselves in or filling in. It's great to make the playoffs, so it's great from a program standpoint to be a playoff team.
And Kelly caught from behind. Connor Finnerty again.
Great play by Finnerty. Speed around the edge and just kept coming and with the sack. That's just him being an athlete, right? Big, tall, athletic guy coming around and making the play. And first-year football guy is pretty impressive. Dylan, but to make the playoffs, and even if you say Sachem North, you might not get the win here today, but as Coach Caputo was talking about what this means to the program, right, and going in a direction and trying to turn corners and stuff, and maybe you might not get the win tonight, but you're heading in the right direction, and football is a sport of a tremendous amount of work, and in the weight room, in the winter, maybe in the spring, in the summer, and to make the playoffs at least shows the kids the work's paid off.
And again, Kelly, it was Dolan the first to force him out. And then why not? Reddick again. He's not too tired, right? After running, what'd you say it was, 160 yards?
It seemed like it was at least 45 across the field and then 90.
Yeah.
I'm not the best math student, so we'll go about 130.
But now you mentioned it, right, with Sachem North, where, under the legendary Fred Frisaro, of course, they were, not only a perennial playoff team, but in the championship game for so many years. And, they had a stretch there as that pass is complete.
I guess you would describe, some way Sachem was the Floyd of the 80s and the 90s, I guess you would describe Sachem as, and Floyd has kind of supplanted them a little bit, in terms of over the last 20 years in Division I being the dominant program.
Yeah, so from 2009 to 2013, they were in 4 out of 5 Suffolk Division I championship games right here at Stony Brook. All, by the way, against Paul Longo's William Floyd. They did win that one in 2013, which is when they won their first ever Long Island championship. But then there was a dip in the program, and that's something that Caputo says there's no denying. This is their first playoff appearance since 2016. And as you said, right, these are the situations you can kind of build on. And here is Kelly trying to make a play, and what a gamer he has been. Gets forced down by Licavoli.
Licavoli's got some motor. The defensive line for Wood Melville is very impressive.
Penalty on the play. Sorry, Mike.
Very impressive defensive line. Athletic, stout at the point of attack, and can chase and pass rush, and very, very impressive. A lot of multi-sport guys, and sometimes on the line play you get single sport guys and stuff, but they have some really athletic multi-sport guys that are tough to stop.
I don't know if you noticed there, kind of the game inside of a game, and maybe just one of those moments that sometimes goes ignored or not recognized, but Louis Jacquez, right, the right tackle for Sachem North, when Kelly gets knocked down there, right, and the play gets broken up and it's a turnover on downs, he runs over to Kelly, making sure he picks him up, the junior two-way starter for the Flaming Arrows. Just, again, you're constantly doing the right things and you rep it all the time. And good job there by Jacquez, even with the score being what it is this late in the game.
Sure, that's a sign of a great program, right? And those are your, that's my guy. He's been my guy all along. And, even the football you see on Sunday in the NFL, those linemen are pretty protective of their quarterback, right? And then, they can't win without him. And he carried them, as Kelly carried them all this way. And he's still your guy up to the very end.
Sachem North, didn't get a chance to mention this earlier. We want to thank Chris Vaccaro for all these stats, kind of that Sachem historian, right? Where 24-9-3, Sachem led this all-time series as a first down run to the 20. They've outscored Ward Melville 748 to 390 in a series that dated back to 1968.
For Ward Melville, their program has been going in a good direction for quite a while. I'm a little familiar with a little bit of Ward Melville football. A friend of mine was the athletic director of Ward Melville for a few years, Pete Mallory, and we talk about the progress they made at Ward Melville in football, and the coaches there, what a great job they were doing, Coach Boltrek, and you could just see that a very impressive team right now and playing very well tonight.
Pete's in my neck of the woods now, in my district, as the AD at Connecticut.
Yep.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line, and some reserves in now for Ward Melville. That was Griffin Kramer with the rush, number 46. You have to go back to 2018 for the last playoff win for Ward Melville. That was over Longwood. That was here in a semifinal at Stony Brook. Then they turned around and lost in the championship game to Floyd, right? No, we've seen that a lot, right? A lot of teams lose in the championship game to Floyd, but that's kind of where Ward Melville has been trying to go with Boltrek leading the way. He made no bones about it early on. It was about building up the program, and he has done it. And Caputo as well gave him the best maybe props of all when he said he's doing it in a spot that a lot of people said, as there's a flag on the play, couldn't be done, right? In a district that's not known for its football prowess.
Sure, there's certainly athletes in the Ward Melville district. There's several other sports that are very competitive. Lacrosse being the sport that everyone knows about. Baseball's been very good at Ward Melville. A great baseball program there. But he's obviously got kids interested in playing. He's got athletic kids and he got kids with some size and obviously very well coached. You can see here how well coached they are. And the Sachem guys are very well coached. Coach Caputo talked about how happy he was with his staff. And I don't think you can make progress in football in the large schools without having great staffs and a lot of kids involved and at the lower levels as well. So I think both programs are really headed in the right direction.
It's kind of remarkable when you think about it. We're so used to the two Sachems, right? Just like we're so used to the two Smithtowns, but it really wasn't too long ago, right? Just in the 90s when it was one Sachem, which is to pull that many terrific athletes, right? And it's no wonder, certainly, when you've got a great coach too, and Fred Fasaro, why they were such a powerhouse for so many years.
Sure, very well scored. It looks like
Kramer gets to the outside and in the end zone as well. 31-yard touchdown. Look what it means, too, for the guys in the line, right? You think Dolan doesn't love that, to get the young kid a touchdown as well? 31-yard touchdown for Kramer.
Offensive lineman. I mean, you have to do what you have to do to move the ball. Pass blocking is that, you have to pass block to throw the football, but ask linemen, what do they want to do? They want to run block. We want to score a touchdown, we want to run block. Pass blocking can be not passive, but you're absorbing, right? In run blocking, you're delivering.
Yeah.
And they're very happy to score, and especially for him to get that touchdown.
PAT is up, and it is good. So in the final minute here, Ward Melville puts another touchdown on the scoreboard. They lead 35-7, and we again invite you to join us tomorrow afternoon. The scene will shift to Northport. We stay North Shore as the Tigers take on West Islip, the Lions. What a battle that will be. Another fun rematch of an early season game, right? So kind of when we spoke to these coaches, we said, look, we know it was a long time ago, but what do you think about, this and this and that? So 21-7 was the score in that first matchup between these two teams, but West Islip has gotten healthier since then. Northport has not, but it should be a good game there as well. What's interesting to note here, in that first matchup, number 51 for Northport, Tim Cleary, we saw him, right? A beast.
Tackling machine.
He moved back to the free safety position in that game because of the injuries that they had in the defensive secondary. That was his first game there, and what an impact he had in that one, and then also throughout the rest of the season as well.
You know, Dylan, when you play the 4-5 game especially, most of the time, this is really, I have no evidence to tell me the truth of this here, but just my experience being that and being around high school football in Long Island a long time, the 4-5 game is usually a rematch game.
Yes.
The 1-8 game is not always a rematch. Sometimes the 8 comes from a lower level and they haven't played the 1, and the 2-7 isn't always a rematch. But the 4-5 game tends to really be a rematch, and as well as the 3-6, and those can be great games.
And more often than not, too. And there's a fumble! And it looks like Ward Melville has recovered, and they do. So it's going from bad to worse for Sachem North. Although you think probably right here with 45 seconds left. We see it again. Good pursuit of the football, and we'll see if Ward Melville maybe doesn't just take a knee here in the final 45 seconds. They don't need, certainly, the touchdown. By the way, before we wrap up here, our good friend of the program, if you will, Mike Quick, with a score update from St. Anthony's. The Friars with a 35-21 lead with 8 minutes left over Cardinal Hayes. So St. Anthony's likely moving on, which would mean they head up to New Rochelle to take on top-seeded Iona Prep. And also want to, while we have a chance, right, let's let everybody know you could listen to Mike Quick, right, along with Matt Sims on ESPN Radio tomorrow morning, and where Melville will do the right thing and take a knee. 8 o'clock in the morning on 98.7. You can listen to Mike talk all about high school football, the Tri-State report there by Quick and Sims.
You have, Dylan, a lot of respect between the two teams, a lot of guys shaking hands, and having played twice this year. And this is what makes sports so great. It's the finality of it when you lose and you know it's over, and you're not going to put that uniform back on again, and the how great it feels to win, because you get the chance to do it again, right? And be with your friends for another week, and be with your coaches for another week, and it's the amazing difference between winning and losing. And what it was for me, what makes coaching so great is having kids experience what you see right now is, the thrill of victory, truly in the agony of defeat, as they said on Channel 7 Sports. Right? It really is.
Now, what we will say about Sachem North, they do lose some key seniors, right? But there's a lot of sophomores wearing those white jerseys for Sachem North. It's something that Dave Caputo said he normally doesn't like. He doesn't want to have sophomores out there, right? He thinks they're better suited developing on the JV level, but because of circumstances being what they are, they've played varsity football, and now they get this experience, right, at Stony Brook. And we knew, win or lose, for whatever team, that this environment was going to be big for them, right? So now if you're on that bus leaving Sachem North, or maybe you're watching film for the last time, you say to your guys, listen, we've experienced where we want to be as a program, right? We want to be playing at Stony Brook. We want to be playing there for championships, and it's a building block for Sachem North. They are hoping to get there. And for Ward Melville, look, they are among the Final Four teams now, right, in Suffolk Division I. We don't know who they will play yet. We'll show you the bracket again. 2 finals so far in Suffolk Division I. It's this one here, as well as the 48-0 win for Walt Whitman over Riverhead. So the 1 and the 4 have advanced, but they don't necessarily play each other. Again, you see that note there in the top left. It will be reseeded after the qualifying round in the semifinals. So if there's any upsets tomorrow afternoon between those 2 games, between Floyd and Brentwood and between Longwood and Comac, and there is a possibility. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a possibility of an upset there with Longwood beating Comac. I'm just putting that out there. So it's not necessarily going to be 1 versus 4 in the semifinals. But we do know one thing. the Patriots of Ward Melville. You see them in the huddle. They are marching on, and certainly congratulations goes out to Chris Boltrick and his coaching staff and all those Patriots as well. It's the best feeling, right, in the world when you win in November and you move on and advance, and that's what these Patriots will do.
Nothing like winning a playoff game. Chance to be together one more week, do it again, get in the semifinals, and all your hard work is sort of paying off. And at the end, only one team wins the championship, but a lot of guys have a great experience together, and there'll be a nice bus, short but enjoyable bus ride home for Ward Melville, that's for sure. And I think the Sachem guys, they'll be back.
Yeah, they will be back for sure. As there you see the final huddle here for Ward Melville. What a big win for them as well. You go back to 2018 for their last playoff win. So football is alive and well in the 3 Village District, and certainly congratulations goes out to Ward Melville, victorious here tonight out at Laval Stadium. So that'll just about do it here for us. We want to remind you again, we're at Northport tomorrow afternoon as Northport takes on West Islip. We switch from, as the fight song is sung and led by Licavolia as well. We move to Suffolk Division 2 as Northport takes on West Islip, another 4-5 matchup tomorrow afternoon as the Varsity Media Sports Network playoff coverage continues. So that'll do it here from Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University. I want to thank AJ Nieves and Ron Pierre giving all those moving images. Our directorial debut for Nick Costi as well as Ben Turchin as well, and my broadcast partner Mike Hungerford. Again, Ward Melville survives and advances in Suffolk Division 1. This has been the Orland and Cone Game of the Week on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.